my word. Here we are, over a month later.
And we haven't seen each other. It's the first time we have seen each other in over a month. How long? When did I leave?
Well, when did you leave for Egypt?
I left for Egypt on the 18th, and we pre-recorded. Wow. We pre-recorded that week. So we haven't...
Yeah. So it's a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is just all over the place. Chaotic, I think, is a good word, actually, to describe the last few weeks. A lot of people have been saying to me the word they use is depleted. I mean, I ended up getting COVID and was, completely flattened for 2 weeks in bed. And then it took me another week to sort of start getting up. And then this week was the first time I could honestly say, like, I got back to normal routines. I have never been so sick in my entire life. Do you know what, Jo? And I know that you've also had your own health challenges. I think it really makes you realize how important your well-being is.
Yeah.
It's something that we really take for granted in a lot of ways. I don't think intentionally. It's just you wake up and you feel great and you have your plans and you have your to-do lists or your schedules or whatever. But when you get like really sick or really out of balance, none of that matters. There was so much. I mean, I'm always one to be like, check the email. I haven't been on the email. I think sometimes it was 2 or 3 days. And I was like, oh, I better just see. Luckily, thank goodness it was quiet. But there were so many things that just became so unimportant because I was just so ill. And, and you don't really appreciate it until you don't have it.
Yeah.
Or when you start going back, like you wake up in the morning and you go like, okay, I actually feel like me again.
Or a little bit better, right? Just
yes. And it was just such a big wake up call for how we take our health for granted and our bodies. And I mean, you've had your own journey.
Yeah.
With this.
Yeah. What I've been through, just kind of like as a catch up, because I know we're just touching base with, I mean, we have hardly even spoken, you and I, like so we're figuring out what's been going on with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I went through finding out that I had to eat that I couldn't be vegan anymore, which was in itself like huge, right? It was so, I mean, I honestly believe that we don't need to get through anything on our own. So I've had an amazing psychologist who's helped me along the way. So I was like, I actually need help getting my head around this eating. And when we were chatting, she said to me she really wants me to go and to like chat about HRTs and all of that. Right? So when I went to my doc, who knows me so well, I've been going to blood tests with her the entire 9 years that I've been vegan. Every year I've gone for the blood tests. They've always been perfect. I've never had a problem. So she said she wants to start with blood tests. And like, I knew that I knew I wasn't great, but in the reception phones on behalf of the doctor, and said, your iron is like critically low. You need to come in for an infusion now, which I really didn't see coming. So it was iron infusions, it was vitamin B injections, and it also just like, so that was another, this lifestyle that I love is, it's just, my body just doesn't want it anymore. And then because she knows me so well, and I trust the process and I trust her, she said to me, what it takes to balance HRTs is not great. And you are already in this emotional space with the eating. And she's like,
Mhm. Mhm.
I just want to balance your serotonin. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Which was massive for me. It was huge for me because, Dorothy, I feel like this has changed you and me forever in our own
Mm.
way.
Mm.
Because I've always said it's you can't just tell your mind to do something different. I've always said that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've done it from a place of understanding the ego and understanding the mind and understanding the subconscious. I have never witnessed myself not be able to. I've had no energy. I haven't been able to get out of bed for a couple of days, same as you.
Mm. Yeah.
And and it is literally just completely. It's what my hormones are doing to my body. It's you
Mm.
know, it's like I don't think I'm ever going to work with someone again without asking questions like, if you're feeling like this, have you had the blood tests? Do you know
Yeah.
where your iron is? Do you know where your vitamin B is? I don't think I'll ever do that again with someone.
Mm. You do you know what? You put it so, I mean, you did that beautiful post on Facebook, but you put it so beautifully, when you said like you did all the right things. I mean, out of all my friends, everyone I know, you are the most disciplined with your eating. I mean, when you sent me that voice note saying I have to start eating animal products again, I was like, there's no ways. Like, how are you going to do this? And but when you said in that post, it really struck me like you do all the right things. You the supplements, you make sure you have enough protein. I mean, you were a textbook case for taking care of your body to
Mm,
the absolute best of your ability. I mean, I've seen you cooking here enough times and and for you it was never like, oh my God, I'm on diet or this is what I have to eat. You do it with absolute joy and love, and you don't put pressure on anyone else. And to have that, I'm going to call it power, taken away is just, it really does shift things. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't eat for it was almost 4 days. I just couldn't. The nausea was so bad. And I thought, I have to have something. My body has no nutrients to fight
yeah,
this. So they went and got meal replacement shakes for me. So I was getting something. But Joe, I didn't shower for 4 days. And it was only afterwards that I went like, oh, how embarrassing is that? I didn't care. I had no energy to even get myself to the bathroom and stand under the hot shower. When I did eventually, I mean, it was the most beautiful shower I've ever had.
yeah.
But it really does, having that power over your health taken away it definitely is. It definitely shifts things, that's for sure. And it's interesting that you and I, in very different ways, went through this experience of,
Yeah.
having this taken away, this, living on my own. I mean, at least I made myself get up to feed the animals. That was the one thing that I did every day. But living on your own, you really realize how alone you actually are when you are as sick as a dog. And I mean, where I am, when Renata went into full Italian mama mode, she was bringing me food and checking in on me and yeah, doing all the things. And Bandili, obviously, he went shopping for me and that. So I did have that, but it just made me so deeply aware of how many people struggle with things like this on
Yeah.
their own and not having help or connection or someone that they can
It's
reach out to.
yeah.
And, for you to go from that vegan lifestyle to what you have to do now, I still can't get over it. I can't even imagine what that must have done to the very core of your being to sit there and be told, I'm very sorry, you have to start eating animal products. And I wanted to ask you, Joe, have you had any pushback from people about this choice?
I've
Like
everyone's been amazing. Everyone's been amazing. I haven't had any vegans say to me, "There's got to be another way." Like I really and truly haven't. I've just had one
yeah,
person. I've had one person just say to me, like, um, "There's there's these kind of supplements, and this could help." Otherwise, everyone's really been amazing. On the
okay,
post, there were a lot of people saying, "Get onto the HRTs, get onto the HRTs," and I found myself being quiet, which is fine, um, uh, because I haven't chosen the HRT route at the moment.
okay,
It is because this is such an exception. Just before now, it's lunchtime for you and me, so I had lunch, and I made myself an ostrich patty, you know,
mm,
um, and it's not just a relaxed process yet. I'm not relaxed and eating, so
mhm.
I'm not relaxed about anything,
Okay,
and
okay,
yeah, and and I I keep on returning to the tools that I know best, like the steps of faith that
mhm,
do. And I keep on reminding myself, it is what it is, where to from here. And I'm so grateful that I have that because I I have not gone into any kind of anger or frustration with myself. I have absolutely reminded myself you did the best you could with the information that you had at that time.
mm, mm,
And also, as soon as I didn't start feeling well, that's when I started to tell you I wanted to see someone. So I've
yeah,
actually I've allowed myself to be proud of myself that something wasn't right. I knew something wasn't right, and
mm.
I did something about it. So I'm
It's
kind of staying like that.
okay. It's so interesting to me that because I've got a number of friends who are around your age and some are even younger, and how many are really struggling with hectic perimenopausal symptoms. I mean, I'm well through the menopause now, but I didn't. I had the hot flushes, I had the night sweats. I didn't have nearly as much as what is going on and as what is going on now. And it is things like anxiety, extreme fatigue, people who were never anxious,
Yeah,
brain fog, all kinds of things. And it's fascinating. And then you have to go, well, is it our lifestyle? Is it this disconnection from
yeah,
ourselves, from the natural order of things? Is it the food that we've been putting in our mouths for years and years, the chemicals, and I know one of the things you're really good with is what you put on your body.
mm,
Is it years and years of chemicals through shampoos, skincare products, hair stuff
yeah,
that is now having this effect? Because I can think just off the top of my head of at least 6 women I know who are struggling as almost as badly as you are. Maybe not so much in terms of the food, the blood tests, but certainly the other
yeah.
perimenopausal symptoms. It's hectic.
I had a conversation with my mom because she was saying she hadn't gone through anything, but actually, a lot of things are only now starting to be linked to perimenopause, like the disruption of the thyroid. And my mom had
Mm,
chronic thyroid things happening. And when we did the math, it was when she was around 50, 51. My sister, she had plantar fasciitis like you cannot believe, like you just cannot believe. And it's linked to that. And frozen shoulder is linked to that, so it's all of a
okay.
sudden these things. And I think that there's a lot of that people have been going through things. It's been labeled as something else, you know. Women
Mm,
also push through. My doctor. guys. My doctor was like, how have you been getting up with your iron so low? And I plow on. I just plow on. And I think that there's a lot of us as women who just plow on.
Yeah,
You know, we also
absolutely.
yeah, we miss that. We miss it because of that. Because I've been exercising. And I'm so
Mm.
chuffed with myself because I've been doing kettlebell swings and I was doing like 50 kettlebell swings a day. So I was telling her, I'm fine. I've been doing like 50 kettlebell swings a day. And she's like, well, your body's obviously gone into, like it's adapted to being ignored, she said to me.
Wow. Wow. That's quite a statement.
Yeah,
It's adapted to being ignored.
yeah.
Sure.
And we sometimes I listen to the things that we say to my nephews. We with these 19-year-old boys, and there's a real thing about Gen X's just carry on, and we've kind of looked at the younger generations and said, you weak, you're lazy, you all these kind of things. And my sister's not one at the moment, and my nephew was like, you're sick, why aren't you in bed? Sick people should go to bed, which is it is it is
Yeah.
a statement, but we really have just kept on going. And I'm sure it was the same as you. It was like on that. I mean, I slept for 3 days after I had
Mhm.
that eye infusion. I literally slept for 3 days, um, and you like keep on going. It feels like the whole world is watching you do nothing.
Yeah. Yes.
I actually had to
Yeah.
remind myself. I had to remind myself, like, this is you. You're in your safe space. You're absolutely fine. No one
Mm,
is, no one is needing you now. The only thing that's important now is that you just rest.
mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm still, well, I mean, oh, you can obviously, I'm still struggling with the coughing and my voice, but I struggle with fatigue, and I have to go and take naps. I literally cannot keep my eyes open. And then I think about people who, can take a day or two off work and then are guilted into going back when they are so, so sick.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, how do people
yeah,
manage? And then wonder why they never get completely well. Because
yes,
the reality is the body needs time. I mean, I've realized this wasn't just I did start getting up last week, but it wasn't just going whoop back into the to-do list. Let's go, baby. It was like,
yeah,
okay, I'm going to do this today, and then I'm going to rest, and gradually I've increased the pace a bit. But yeah, there's so much. I think there's so much happening at the moment, which is just showing us how out of whack so many of us actually are,
yeah,
and the things that we label as so important in the greater scheme of things are
just
actually the
art.
least. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and also I think it's for me. It's been so fascinating to just witness myself do what's best for me, but it also feels like it's been such a I don't even know how to put it into words to do like I sent you a WhatsApp yesterday basically saying like whatever we're going through we're never going to be the same again, right? It's
Yeah,
just
I'll tell you what it says because it's such a good one. Where are we? You sent it to me. It says, every time you level up, you lose something, a habit, a friendship, a version of yourself. That's not loss, that's proof that you're evolving.
yeah, and I sent it to you because it's you and I in our years of friendship, the amount of times that something's been aligned, right, has been quite
Yeah,
amazing. But for both of our bodies to crash at the same time,
yes. So spectacularly.
Yeah, and actually the low I was thinking about the other things that have, the other things that have happened to me, or how sick I've been, or when I injured my back, or when I got the vertigo and the
Mm,
tinnitus, all those different kind of things, and this has just been, without a doubt, I was using words, I was really using dramatic words. I mean, with the therapist, I was like, "This is catastrophic."
yeah,
But
it's
like, um, to to also to just to reassess why I made the choices I made. And it's got to be so interesting for other people, because, like, for me, it's food, right? But
mm,
there's people who chose to marry someone, and then you realize that you have grown out of love with this person, or you study something and you think that this is your forever career, and then you realize that you don't like it, or
yeah,
you move to a country or buy a house, all these different things, and then you realize, life shifts and something changes, and then you kind of get forced into an evolution,
yeah, you do.
you
I
know?
think that's exactly what it is. Like if you, I think especially if you continue to ignore the nudgings or the messages or whatever it is, um, then eventually, yeah, it is going to come and it's going to go. Okay, you actually need to wake up now and listen.
Yeah,
I mean, I also, I mean, the one night I was on and off the loo, the nausea was off the charts, and I just went, can I just die now? Because I can't do this anymore. Like I'm done.
just
I've just I just let it, please just take all of this away.
away.
And I was reikiing myself and listening to, the Hertz music, the healing every day. And I was like, surely I'm going to feel better tomorrow. And this was like, no, this is going to take as long as it takes. And it's interesting though, because there is in South Africa, I don't know what it's like. I was in South Africa, the flu is rampant at the moment. It's really bad. Down here where I am, I mean, schools are just, the kids are, dropping like flies. Lungs are the seat of grief.
Yeah,
And flu is a way of the body detoxing and releasing. So I've been very cognizant of that as
right.
well. And the timing, John's anniversary is today, this whole new opportunity with workplace bereavement. I'm very cognizant that there could be a bigger element to
Yes,
this, almost like preparing me. I mean, it would be nice if it was done in a gentler way, but this is, you have to go through it. I mean, there's nothing that you and I can do about our situations except get the best advice we can and
yeah,
take the best care of ourselves, and hope that
absolutely,
that's enough.
absolutely. And I've had to do some interesting research. Yes, I mean, I will search for those facts, like I really and truly will. And I've had to do some interesting research on, like, when did the vegan lifestyle become such a big worldwide choice, and like, how sustainable is it? And I mean, it is sustainable. It absolutely
Yeah.
is. And it's this perimenopause is what knocked everything, and it was
Mhm.
all based on that insulin resistance. It was based on the fact that all these hormones change the way that your insulin is processed in the body, and every protein that a vegan eats is also a carbohydrate. So I've also had to do that, because it's important that I remind myself that I really did make good choices for myself. And
Yeah.
I did. And remember, I lost like nearly 40 kilos being vegan,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it really, really worked. And I'm also absolutely the same as you. Like, I am very conscious that there are there are reasons why my body is making the decisions that
Mhm.
it's it's making and the choices and how's it going to shift me, um, you know. And I think that's something that's really becoming so clear to me is that these are the crone years, you know. These are
Yes,
these
good word.
are the wise woman years, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, and yeah, I feel like we're stepping in. Well, I'm stepping into it a bit messy, but for whatever reason, I need to be stepping into it. And I think it's going to push my empathy and it is going to push me to do more research.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, but that's also so important, Di, is that, and I think that this is a fundamental thing for why we're here today, because I know we kind of like just sharing how we be where we've been,
yeah,
but a real fundamental thing about getting unstuck for me is the choice to have a look at the way that you see your life.
yeah.
The actual conscious choice to see what is happening in your life and make a conscious decision to
Mm,
assess and analyze it so that it becomes a gift and it becomes a growth and it becomes a part of your journey that, I mean, you and I are going to look back on this time of our lives and we're going to see growth from this, but it's because we choose that so
mm,
every time. I mean, it's the anniversary of John's passing today, and I have
yeah,
watched over these 6 years what you have done with grief and how you are
yeah,
happy
mm,
with grief now. You
yeah.
know,
I have to say that there is one thing that has happened in the last few weeks is I don't know how to put. I feel like I've stepped into my age, and I don't. And by that, I don't mean I'm suddenly become old.
yeah, yeah,
But I was very cognizant of my age 66 is considered vulnerable in terms of this kind of flu, this kind of illness. But it's so strange. Like I suddenly feel like I stepped into something like a maturity, or as you say, that wise woman, that crone age. Like there was so much that fell away that was no longer important and still is not important.
wow,
um I mean, the other night, I think I got ready for bed at about 8:45. I was just like, I'm really tired and I want to just tuck up in bed. I was like, oh my god, Di, it's 8:45. It's like, that's okay. It's not that
yeah,
I went to sleep, but I
yeah,
needed to be warm and I needed to be in my bed. But it is stepping into the age. It's the only way I can explain it.
yeah,
Like, and it isn't anything about like, oh God, I'm old or I'm getting old. It was a mature. Yes, I guess it is an evolving.
yeah,
Something happened with being so sick, and then as I started to come out of it, like it's a simple thing. Like I go out with less makeup on. In fact, I've been out with no makeup on, which before was unheard of.
yeah.
But it's like, I actually am really proud of my skin and I'm really proud of the way I look. So it's
I'm so,
owning it. It's
mm,
like owning where you are in your life. So that, yeah, there definitely was some kind of change. And I think I'm also still figuring it out and where it's going.
yeah.
Um,
We're definitely connecting into that together, you know, and I
and everything happens for a reason.
totally,
This we know. Everything happens for a
yeah.
reason.
And we've also got to we've got to decide on what that reason is. Like I'm not looking outside of myself and trying to guess what the universe is doing or why it has happened. That I think that is I don't really believe in that way of thinking. What we decide it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's also something that's so important is that I could look at this in so many different ways. But I saw someone, my sister has her hair salon next door. So I went past and I saw one of her clients who hasn't seen me, not in a super long time. Maybe she hasn't seen me in maybe 2 months, right? She said to me, "You're looking so well today." So well. I was like,
Yeah.
this is the worst I have felt in about 20 years. But
But you
I
know
think
what?
it's perception, right?
Do you know what I think it is, though, Joe? I think it's making peace
Yeah.
with what is brings about, in a weird way, it yeah, I think it is that you just, okay, this is where I am. I have to figure this out. You're not stressing about it. You're not, in the beginning, it was a huge shock, and that took a while to kind of process and integrate. But you just, well, this is where I am, and this is what I have to do. And I think it's that peace, that inner peace, that is
Yeah.
like, that translates to looking well because you're actually at peace.
You know what put me at peace was putting the post out onto social media. That's
Mm,
actually put me at peace
okay.
because actually when I was at you in December, I think that that's when everything. I think that that's when the chaos started. When I got to you and I
Mm,
was so quiet. Remember, I was very quiet.
mm, mm.
Um, and I said I needed a break from posting, and I mean, I just never came back online. It's
Yeah,
half
yeah,
a year, you know. So I
yeah,
also feel like just breaking my own silence. Also just helped with that.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So we're back,
We are. We
and
are here.
I think also just to thank anyone who's listened to the end, all the way through, because I know that we're just you and I are catching up, Di. We literally have just
Yes,
been
yeah.
in
We
our own.
are, 'cause we've been in our own spaces. And I mean, I know you did say to me, like, "Oh, why didn't you tell me you were so sick?" But you were on holiday in Egypt. I wasn't going to dump that on you. There's nothing
Oh,
you could do. I
yeah,
was really well taken care of in the bigger scheme of things. So, yeah, we don't always want to
yeah,
um,
yeah.
put that
But
on other people because everybody is dealing with their own stuff.
their own things with their own things.
Yeah.
But as long as you know that as I landed, like I think I messaged
Yeah.
you straight still in the airport. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and we just break that. Yeah, just break that.
Yeah.
And we've been checking in on each other, and that's the gift of who we are. But I've missed recording the podcast. I mean, I really,
Yes.
when I was when things really felt chaotic, and I was like, oh, I don't have the energy to do anything. The the
Mm.
the it was really I just wanted to get back to doing the podcast. So I'm so happy that we're back.
Yep, we are back and in the groove.
Yeah,
And yeah, and I think for anyone who is listening, if you're struggling with any kind of health issues or mental, emotional, like, just go and have
yeah,
it checked out. It doesn't hurt.
yeah.
Really doesn't hurt to just don't
It's
struggle. And also, I think, don't listen to whatever people mean well, but everybody's got their own remedy or supplement or whatever. Rather just start by talking to a professional and figuring it out, doing it the
absolutely.
right way. Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I did. I really am.
Mm.
Okay, we just keep on getting better and stronger, right?
We do. Onwards and upwards.
Absolutely. And on
Okay.
that note, we will see
See you
everyone soon.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.